line. Not going to see any of these lines because it's the back, but I want to see them, so I don't really care. My drawings are roughly an inch, so I'm going to have 4 holes that are 2 inches by 2 inches by 2 inches by 2 inches, right? I got 4, and I'm just going to do a vertical layout because it doesn't really matter. When I take this 11 inches and I've got 8 inches gone, that leaves me 3 inches left, right? So if and you might want to do this for lack of confusion. If I just lay this out like this and roughly draw these in, right? Knowing that these are 2, 2, 2, and 2, I can do one thing. First, I'm going to lay out the side line because that's easy. They're all going to be 2 inches wide. So I'm going to put my ruler at 1 inch, and I'm going to go to 2 inches and to 0. I'm going to do the same thing down here. 2 inches and 0. And I'm going to join those lines. Now I have a strip that is 2 inches wide. What I need, maybe that being up there, what I now need to do is divide this so that each of these are fairly equal. By fairly equal, I mean equal. So if I have 3 inches remaining, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces in between. So 3 inches divided by 5. I don't know, anybody. Hard, right? What's 3 inches?
0.6.
What's 3 inches in millimeters? Because we're going to be a little more accurate.
70.
Let's do it the easy way. We don't want to break out our computers. We don't want to break out our real intellect. Just do this. Draw a 3-inch line, two dots. Rotate your ruler around and measure it in millimeters. It's 77 millimeters, 76 millimeters. 76 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. That's where I would use a calculator. But 2.
Go 15.
Just under more like 12, 4, 12.5, I think.
3 inches is 75 and 75.
2.5 roughly,
Okay.
or 25. So now, if I know that's the case, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna switch to millimeters because I did this in millimeters. 25, go down 2 inches. So I'm gonna start with 25 millimeters. And the only reason why I'm switching back and forth is because millimeters are a little bit more accurate than trying to figure out how many friggin' 30 seconds everything is. That would be my son's thing. He's a bit of an animal that way. So that's my first line. Now I'm gonna go down 2 inches. And again, I always do 2 lines. 1, 2. Then I'm gonna go down 25 millimeters. If I'm gonna have, before I cut anything, lay it all out. Then I'm gonna go down 2 inches. The reason you wanna lay it all out first is when I get down here, if that's not 25 millimeters, I can adjust a little bit. I'm not going to use my calipers on this, so you know, because this is drawing class. It's not studio. I will be able to tell if your lines aren't straight or if there's a lot of variation. That's what you want to avoid. Anything that can cause 1, 2, 3. So I have screwed this up. And I know that because when I go 25 millimeters, I only have 1, 2, 3. I have 4. I have exactly 2 inches, so I didn't account for that bottom one for some reason. How did I screw that up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You didn't count for the top space.
Yeah, I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh.
I don't have room. If this is 1 inch, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 5 is 9, it should be okay. What am I doing wrong, eh? makes me go, 2 and 1, 2 and 1. So this is 1, 2, 3. This will be my 4. So screwed that up somehow. I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go up 1/4 inch. Now this time, because I'm altering my line work, I'm gonna make this line longer. So now I know I'm going by the longer lines, not the shorter lines. And I'm gonna make this 1 3/4 inches because I actually believe this is too much. There is an easy, like you can just math it out. If I change this to 1 3/4 inches, I wanna change that. This I drop down to 3/4, so I'm just gonna do that again. 3/4 inch, inch and 3/4, 3/4, and I'm going by the 1 because it's just easier. 1 3/4 inches. Now, if I've changed this to 1 3/4 inches, what I want to do is change this width, but I can do that later. I could also leave it rectangular. I don't really care. As these get bigger, when I take my 1 inch circle, which is roughly this size, you can see how I need almost 1/2 inch all the way around it. Otherwise it will overlap and leave me an opening. Don't leave yourself too little space around your shapes. 3/4, 1 3/4 inches. If this doesn't work, I can always alter it again. There's a scientific, what was it called? My son used to use it. WAG, wild ass guess. I can wag it. You see how this line it's crooked. As soon as I see that, start at the beginning. 7.5, somewhere that's wrong. It's also 7.5, what the heck? Not wrong. This one is a little off. At this stage, I'm still in layout stage, so it doesn't really matter. Go back to 3/4, 3/4, 1 3/4, 1 3/4. If you do this, and you do what I have right here, it's fine to have more weight, more material here than here. The reason it's okay is because when we mat a painting, we often leave extra material on the bottom so that it feels heavier. I don't have a problem with that. What I'm really watching for is this. I could readjust and take this down 1/8, maybe a little bit more than 1/8, and then work this way down. The 3/4 is fine, or I could add a little bit in between. For now, don't really care. It's close enough for what we're doing. Once I have these laid out, one of the reasons I would lay them out in a fairly simple pattern like this, as opposed to all willy-nilly, is I can put my knife blade here, I can go up here, and I can cut from here almost to there, leave a gap without moving my ruler, and I can cut all 4 of these lines. And I can turn this around. In this case, I'm going to cut that other little bit, which is from here forward, here forward, like so. And that just stops me from having that little line in the corner where it's not cut. And then same thing here. Not quite to the line. Not quite to the line on all of these. Now instead of lifting my ruler, I'm going to rotate my knife and just come in from the other corner until I run into my previous cut line. And that'll give me, careful you don't slip and cut across your finger or anything like that. That'll give me a bunch of lines in between. And then I just have to cut. I always put my blade on the line, run my ruler up against it. Now in this case, this line going this direction, because it doesn't go across it, doesn't give me a stop and start point. So I like to have them, basically it's a crop line. And again, I'm gonna cut that one and then come from the other direction from that line this direction. And I keep doing that all the way along. Now these are rectangles. I could have shortened the width of it, made them squares. I don't really care as long as they're even. And then if this is all done right, this should just pop right out of there without any issues. And then you just step and repeat. Okay?
Is a box cutter better than an X-Acto knife for this?
Yeah, because cutting paper really wears out an X-Acto knife. An X-Acto knife has its other uses, which would be carving a wax. I would use an X-Acto knife for that. But the box cutter, because you're really just using that very tip, you can snap it off and get more out of it. And then you step and repeat. Now, mounting your image. You're going to, assuming this was done, I'm going to use this one here. Cut it wide with lots around it. And hopefully you haven't already cut through it or whatever. Then you take your tape. Find the end of your tape. Piece of tape, turn your drawing over. Only cut one piece of paper. Drawing over, put that on there like that, face up. Turn your mat over, center it. I want to see it centered. Even though I didn't cut this square, I can put it in the mat crooked. I want to try to get that distance and this distance to be the same. Once it is, just put your finger across there. Check your hands, make sure they're clean once you turn your mat over. Make sure this isn't dirty. Wash your hands, that gets carbon on it and it can ruin your mat. Once you've done that, flip it over. Tape there. Tape there. On this one, just make sure you're not into the next window. That's one down. And then, assuming one of these drawings were good enough, and this is exactly what I wanted for your second one. Now, if you have a big piece like this, and you want to know roughly where to cut it, line it up. See that little line there? I will remove that. Just put a little dot in each corner. And that just lets me know that this must be outside of those dots. And the reason it matters is I don't want to put a bunch of tape in behind that other drawing. That's a little bit closer. And again, we're going to mount it from behind so that this all, if I screw up one drawing, I can just replace it. And then just line that up. Before I do, I'm going to take that little guy off of there. See that little foible there? Before I go on any further, I'm going to remove that so it's not a distraction. Then I line that up nice and in the middle. Before I do, those little dots, those little light dots that I put in the middle, get rid of those. On the corners, I mean, not the middle. Get rid of those so they're not inside the drawing space at all. This is where your white erasers are good. And then just go over top of it, line it up so it's in the middle, set it down, tape, flip, tapey tape, tape, done, 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 boom, boom, boom. Easy peasy.